Hello.
Morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning.
I predom-
Am I audible?
start, sir.
Guys, am I audible?
It's audible, sir.
Okay. So, all of you are there.
Start now.
Your voice is breaking.
Sir, can you start now? Is it okay now?
Yeah, yes, it's okay. So, sorry for the technical problem. I have got some technical issue. That's why uh, it got delayed. Yeah. So,
Mark self that is full of industry, not education.
still the voice is not clear.
It's a 3-day workshop starting from yesterday till 22nd March 2021. This program has been organized to create a healthy relationship and the different industry. Well, Dean Williams once said, the aim of education is not of facts, but of values. It is on the occasion like this that we get opportunity to share our knowledge, and we look forward to get an exposure about what the best think about the various industrial sectors and thus enlighten us with their experience. Now I would like to call upon the dais.
Good morning, sir. This is Girish
Good
Mohan.
morning.
Now I am going to introduce Mr. Aswini Palo, sir. He is currently the marketing measurement specialist in Hsbc. He has completed his MBA from NPTI Faridabad and EGPGM from IIM Lucknow. He has worked in companies like JK Paper Mills, Flipclass, Webenza, Google. He is highly qualified and has experience in performance marketing, digital attribution, advanced digital analytics, machine learning, automation, artificial intelligence, etc. I would now request him to address the gathering. Please, sir.
Sure. Thank you. Okay. So optimize for image. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, fine. So thank you. Thanks a lot. So first of all, I just wanted to know, all of you guys are fine. Like my voice is fine. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, IGIT, for giving me this opportunity to speak something to you which can help you out in your growth journey for the next decade or two. Mostly, I will assume it will be a decade only because nowadays the business environment and the entire globe is changing so fast that thinking a career after 20 years or thinking of a position after some 30 years is not you can say it's not the right terminology to talk about. However, what I feel, you know, mostly 10 year or 5 years should be sufficient enough. Okay. Now, yeah. First of all, my gratitude to IGIT, is my alma mater. Then thank you, Dr. B.V. Chaudhary, who has given me this opportunity to engage with you all. then the college faculties, admin staff, and the employees of the college. Then my dear batchmates, my seniors, and my beloved juniors. Now, let me tell you what I'm going to talk to you about. So I'll give you a brief outline on what I will discuss with you. Then we can talk on how to move ahead. So in the first section, I will talk about myself, my journey so far. In the second section, I will be talking about the objective of this particular event, which is what the industry expects from you. Now, then we will go for the third point, which is how to fill the gap. So whatever you have learned so far and whatever the industry expects, there is a gap. Now, how to fill those gaps to push your career little ahead of others. Okay, then we can open up the discussion. Okay, so this entire discussion, I'll wrap it to around 45 minutes, where I will talk about all this information and issues for some 20 minutes or 25 minutes. Then I will take your questions. You can ask me questions and I'll answer them. As far as I understand, and my concept, based on my intuition, beliefs, and my experience. Okay, now coming to my journey with IGIT, I'm a passed out of 2010, and
Sir,
at that time, yeah. Hello, am I audible?
sir, actually, I want that this meeting, whether it will be stream on YouTube or not,
Pardon, I didn't get you.
sir. Whether you'll permit to have this meeting on YouTube live stream.
Uh, okay, permission on the meet. So actually, I'm not able to hear you clearly.
We wanted to ask you whether we can have a YouTube streaming of your session or not.
Sure, sure, sure. It's not a problem.
So
I
thank you,
have
sir.
my own YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
no problem. Even you can stream on whatever social media, whatever you want, you can do it. It's not a problem.
Okay, sir. You can continue, sir. Now.
Yeah. Now, uh, so IGIT basically shaped my career a little bit. If I would have, so basically the journey started like this. It was the same 4 year journey like yours. But what happened, one of my seniors said, hey guys, there is a tech fest that is happening in CET Bhubaneswar. Why don't you guys join that? So me and few of my friends went there, attended the tech fest. In fact, we won in the trust design competition. We stood third. Uh, then we just thought, it's quite interesting. Then suddenly, at that time there was one more tech fest which was organized by IIT Kharagpur. The name is Kshitij, I think. Okay, so all of we thought of going there, and that was something like life changing. So when we went there, we just realized, oh, IGIT is good, but it's only bounded by a set of people from Odisha. Okay, but whereas if you go to IIT, you interact with a hell lot of people and very smart guys. And we thought like, oh, we in our college we don't organize such functions. Why don't we start like that? And that is something which is again game changing for me and few of my friends. And we started organizing that, and we failed miserably. To be precise, we were not able to conduct that. Whatever happened, you can say, it was 1 or 2% of what we have expected. It was very first for us, and it didn't go quite well. Our friends themselves started fighting with each other. So I don't want to talk about that. That is not important. what is important is taking that initiative. So I learned that particular, you know, thing of taking initiative from IGIT, which helped me a lot, uh, you know, which helped me a lot to reach to my current position. I'm not telling, I am at a very high position, but based on my experience and expertise, yes, I have reached a good, you can say a good position in my career where it is easy for me to move ahead. Now, after that, I got a job in JK Paper Mill. And I worked there for 2 years. Uh, I was in maintenance. I didn't like that quite well. Why? Because basically, I always loved math and statistics. So I have that knack for, working with numbers, and especially with mechanical engineering, and that too, working in maintenance doesn't make any sense for me because it's always like working with a set of people. They will do the task. I will just monitor them. That's all. So it was not about any numbers. I got bored, so that's why I thought of taking a decision to go for my MBA with MBTI, which was also a disaster for your information. I went there. It was power sector. I was quite excited. But then what happened? It didn't go well. Like I scored well, everything was fine, but I never liked that because of the status of power industry. Because if I inform you about power industry, it is not in a very good shape. You all think of only generating industry where you generate power. However, the other two segments, which are the transmission and distribution, is in a mess. The entire country is in a mess, except few distribution companies. Then I realized, oh, where did I come? In the meantime, I just started a company of myself. It's an e-commerce company. I sold many products on Amazon, Flipkart as a seller. Okay, you might be surprised, like कि बंदा engineering किया, उसके बाद MBA किया, उसके बाद दुकान चला रहा है अपना. Okay, it's quite exciting actually. Then I just started selling those products. It didn't go well. Uh, so I thought of joining a startup. Uh, so in that startup, it was a tech startup, and I had no background. Like I was from engineering, then my my specialization was in power. So how can I crack into that? Anyhow, I just started working there, and I realized like, oh, my passion is coming back. Like I loved numbers, and I have started seeing numbers. Numbers in the sense when you start a small company, like the startup where I joined, it was only 3 months old. So I was given the full opportunity to explore whatever possible in order to grow the business. Now there, I started working on increasing the revenues for the business. Where revenue is something where you your impact is calculated. You directly put your value in that. Okay. But if you work in other engineering streams, like if you will be a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer, it is good. I'm not telling the career is not bad, but you will not be able to see your effort in terms of result. For example, at the end of the year, it all matters. How much money you are getting as an incentive, or how much extra money you are making in terms of salary hike. Now, when that comes into picture, your performance matters a lot. When your performance matters a lot, you need to show your strength in terms of the results. Results in the sense how you are impacting the revenue. Now, and at the end of the day, it's all about the same thing, which is called money. Then, I love that. I have grown that company from somewhere around, monthly. We were doing a transaction of around 50,000 rupees. Uh, by the time I left it, I don't know, we were making around 2 to 3 crores of revenue per year. Okay, so that was the scale. Then I moved from that company. I joined Webinza. So Webinza is basically an agency where I came across multiple set of industries like manufacturing, IT, e-commerce, real estate, education, then FMCG, BFSI, which is into banking and financial sector. So I have worked with all those industry leaders. Industry leaders means what basically agencies do, they take the work of marketing from the companies and they execute it for them. Now, so then what happens when then I started interacting with all the CMOs, brand heads. So that gave me, a lot of confidence to move ahead in my journey. Then I moved to Google, which was really an amazing place. So, there I have worked for clients like Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal. I have interacted with their CMOs. I have interacted with their business strategy heads, uh, and I have even given them some recommendations. They have implemented that. Okay, and that helped them grow their business to a larger extent. Then currently I'm in HSBC. So mostly my entire journey revolves around marketing. So whatever Google ads you see, whatever YouTube ads you see, whatever ads you see in Facebook or Instagram, almost these are the things, I do it. Okay. So I execute those campaigns, not for all the clients, but some of the major clients I handle for them. Now, the objective of telling this to you is uh, one thing, that is uh, you should actually focus on moving ahead in what the world is moving. For example, पूरी दुनिया जो जिस direction में जा रही है, you are also moving in that direction. Then what is going to happen? You will grow at a rapid rate. Now, coming to the second segment, which is really interesting, what the what the industry people need from you. Uh, the first thing is whenever you join any company, the first and foremost thing is whether you know the work or not. First is communication. You should be able to communicate with all your stakeholders properly. Whether you know the thing or doesn't know the thing, doesn't matter. You can directly go and tell, hey, I don't know this. Then people will appreciate that. Two, patience to work in a team together. Like there will be a set of people, and in that set of people, there will be people from who will be mid 40s, mid 50s, mid 30s, younger like you, and you all have to work in a group, and you have to get the result for the team. If you perform well and the entire team doesn't do well, then you will never get your increment or you will never get happiness in that. Now, the last part is few skills. So people, put a lot of emphasis on improve your skills. No, it's not actually needed. You need a little skill to work in. Now, let me tell you, I have studied 4 years in mechanical engineering. I have studied, I think, almost 48 subjects. No, no, 6, 12, 12 into 4, 48, 46. 46 subjects I have studied. Believe me, when I was working as a maintenance engineer in JK paper mills, I might have used 5% of what I've studied, not more than that. Even that 5%, the ITI guys, diploma guys, they know it. Okay. So the moment you become an engineer, the next step is to become a manager. Then you will, take the industry with you. You have to take decisions. So Even if you are not very good with your mechanical engineering skill, it's okay. But you should be good with the other skills which I have mentioned you. First of all, communication and interacting in a group and get the job done. Now, I have already mentioned you like what are the things in which so I have mentioned you in the beginning like you should go in that direction where the whole world is moving. I'm going to inform you certain technologies where you can work and you should start thinking in that direction. So the number one will be like hyper automation. Hyper automation is something, it talks about machine learning and robotic process automation. So I'll give you a small example. Okay? In JK Paper Mill, they have five factories, five mills, or five bigger set of machines, which were producing 50 tons a year. Sorry, 50 tons a day, 50 tons of paper a day. So they have imported one more machine from Indonesia, and it was producing almost 200 tons per day. The number of people allocated for these five machines, which were generating almost 50 tons a day, was somewhere around 2,700. And the new machine that they, brought in was was only employing somewhere around 250 to 60 employees. So there is a drastic reduction in the manpower. So here my objective is the whole world is moving in reducing the manpower in the industry. So if you are thinking you will go into core engineering branch, which is fine, I have no problem with that. But if you go in the process automation side or something where you can improve everything, it really works. It will help you in the near future. One of my friend who was working in NTPC Kaniha, he worked there for 5 years. Now he is working as a VP in Halodoc, which is an Indonesia based company. So he went to one more power plant, and there were no people in the power plant itself, only few, like some 20 or 30 people will be there in the entire power plant, which was generating around 3,000 megawatts of power. So the whole world is moving in that direction. If you go in that direction, you will be pretty happy and you can make a hell lot of money. But if you will be contained with whatever you get, like आपने एक PSU crack कर दिया and then, oh, I'm happy, then it's done. It's not bad, okay, but you will not be able to add any value to the society in terms of growth or anything. Now the next thing will be multi-experience. You might have all of you guys might have been playing games, online games, video games. So here I'm talking about virtual reality and augmented reality. I think girls might be using Nika app, or that is something, or Amazon itself. Now, in order to match the lipstick for your lips, then you can just take your mobile screen and take a photo of your. It will tell you how the lipstick shades will work with your face. So that is something called augmented reality. Okay, so these kind of technologies are coming up. So if you want to explore these things and if you want to be a part of this journey, then it will be pretty exciting for your career. So instead of going daily to the same company, working, just checking out the pump machine, if you go for these kind of technological options, it will be pretty interesting because the consumer behavior is changing slowly. Okay, and it will change a lot. For example, 10 years back, people were loving, using Facebook. However, people have moved to Instagram. Similarly, earlier people were using normal text-based chatting. Now, then people have moved to WhatsApp. Now, people are discussing on Discord or Asana. There are many things that have come which are changing the industry at a faster pace. Now, then comes something called human augmentation. Like if you work in biology, not actually biology, it's an immersion of biology and engineering. So there are a lot of prosthetic legs are coming, then you know, a lot of products are coming which are enhancing our life. There are various superfoods that are coming which are going to enhance your life expectancy. So this is something which is growing at a faster rate, and it will be in the near future. Now there is something called distributed cloud. People who belong to IT or computer science. This is something which is a pretty exciting field. Then there is something called edge computing. So edge and cloud both are like going at pace with each other, and they are not competing, but you can either move to edge or you can move to cloud. Then there is something called autonomous things. Autonomous things means machines that can clean your houses, that can clean your utensils, and you're automating all those things with a single device like your mobile. You can control all your household lights, you can control your geyser, you can control mopping in your house through an app itself. This is something which is advancing at a faster pace. So if you can enter into these industries or these domains, you can accelerate your career. Then you might have heard of blockchain. Okay, so if you want to build a career in blockchain, that is really interesting. Now, coming to the last part, I will wrap it up in 5 to 10 minutes, then we can discuss it all together. Uh, Now, how to fill this gap? See, whatever you have studied, in your engineering for the last 4 years, or whatever you will study in future, believe me, it is not going to add much value to your career, except few programming languages or few of those things. Few of those things means few subjects from your mechanical engineering or electrical metallurgy, whatever branch you are in. Then so in order to fill the gap, always try to work with the smartest people that you work with. The moment you work with the smartest people, automatically you will become smart. Okay, so that is something you should always look for. Then see, if you want to go for your traditional jobs, that is fine, and I don't want to say no for that. You can go for railways, you can go for uh, you know uh, IES exam or IAS exam or banking. It's fine. I don't have any problem. But those who want to do something different, then the best option is come to the big cities, start working with startups. You will learn a lot. Your learning will be like much higher. It will be exponential. You will grow much faster. Now, no, this is the time. You're 20. You are in your 20s. This is the time you can experiment. Whatever experiment you want to do, do. Like, you want to test this thing out, do it as fast as possible. Now, you want to do entrepreneurship, do it quickly, because then you will know a lot of things. Once you cross a certain age, like 30 or 40, it becomes difficult. I know there are various people who say on YouTube, like, oh, there is no age bar for entrepreneurship, blah, blah, blah. It is fine. But if you see the statistics, but if you see the numbers, it is pretty less. People will always tell you, KFC का जो CEO है उसका example, that old beardy guy. Okay, he started his career in 60s and he started selling Kentucky Fried Chicken, and he's pretty famous. But here the objective is how many people like that have scaled their business like this. One in a million, one in some 10 million. Okay. Now coming to the reality, experiment as much as possible in your 20s and 30s. Once you cross the 30 mark, it will be really difficult to take things up. Then there is something like you always pursue your career which you love to do. I'm not talking about dancing, okay, or music, which is good. You can do that, but because the scopes have gone up tremendously high, but the scope of falling is also that high. You can see, nowadays, the music directors, singers, dancers, their lifespan is very small. They come to the market for 5 years or 10 years, then they vanish. Now, if you want to stay engaged in that particular field, you need to build certain skills through which you will be able to get connected to the business and can get or can reap as much as revenue possible for your life. Now, if you want to become an entrepreneur, then the best thing is to test out your ideas at the earlier stage. You shrink your ideas to a limited number of ideas, then experiment each of the ideas. Whatever will succeed, go with that. Instead of thinking, I want to do it, मैं फ्यूचर में करूँगा, 5 साल के बाद मेरे पास 10 लाख रुपए हो जाएगा, then I will invest it. This is not the right approach. Okay. Now, with this, I will stop my talk. Now we all can discuss whatever questions you will ask me. I'll try to answer it. Yeah. Hello.
Thank you, sir, for your.
Thank you.
Now, would you like to take some questions from the audience?
Sure, sure, sure.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, you're audible.
Sir, my question is that why one should prefer a management sector rather than choosing a core sector or a software sector?
Okay, very good question. You can select any of the sector, but the thing is, after doing your engineering for almost 5 years or 7 years, you will ultimately move to management. Okay, there will be nothing you can do for engineering. Max to max, you will do like you will purchase a machine if you are in metallurgy. If you are in mechanical, you will do the same thing. You will buy different parts of the machine and you will start interacting with multiple vendors who can supply you the same bearing. So whatever the concept you have studied in bearing, this is a roller bearing, this is a ball bearing, all those things are not going to make much impact because the designer have already given you the blueprint, right? For this particular machine, you need this bearing only. So you can't change that bearing because that is the design of the shaft, okay, or that particular machine. So you have to buy that type of ball bearing only, and that ball bearing can be provided by 4 or 5 manufacturers, and you just have to discuss with them and buy it. And that bearing will be applied to the machine, not by you, but by some ITI guy, or and that will be monitored by someone who will be a junior engineering, like who have done his or her diploma. So that is the difference. Okay, after working as an engineer for 4 or 5 years or max 10 years, you have to move to the management sector, otherwise you will not be able to grow. Yeah. Am I
Yes,
able to
sir.
answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, coming to software, your other question. Software is really good, but I'm going to tell something which you people may not like it here. Okay. So don't try to go to service industry like TCS, Infosys, Wipro. although they give you the job, but if you are lucky, you will be able to change your career. Otherwise, you guys are going to ruin your career if you go to those companies, because you will work similar kind of task, and you will not do the kind of tasks what actual people are using. Just help me out. Like, are you using any of the product, okay, which is developed by these three companies? Like, I'm not blaming any company, or uh, I don't have any harsh feelings for them. But tell me any product or service that you use, regularly or heavily, so that in order to enhance your life, be it smartphone or laptop or any application in your smartphones, any of these ever built by this set of people? No, they provide only services. That's all. So always try to go to product-based companies which build products. So you will be able to, make products by your own. Product in the sense like your mobile applications or websites, or designing banking products or building CRMs, all those things. Yeah.
So as the working hour in managing sector are quite high, so that's also a disadvantage.
Okay, let me answer you this question. Very interesting question. See, except few segments like consulting background, rest of the fields have got pretty flexible working hours. I work almost 6 to 8 hours a day, not more than that. Even if I work for 6 hours few days, they don't cut my salary. Okay. In Google, it is damn damn cool. Believe me, I worked in Google. I used to go to office at 10:30, come from office by 5. And in that time, you go to your lunch, then you can spend there almost an hour. Then you can go for tea breaks. In tea breaks, you can spend almost an hour. Okay. So basically, you work for uh, 3 to 4 hours, but whatever you work, it will be a qualitative one, or whatever discussions will happen, whatever meetings will happen, all those things will be a discussion one. Let me tell you a beauty of Google. Okay, people will tell, Google is amazing. I worked in Google. So there's, every Friday in the second half between 1 to 5, they will leave you. Like, they will tell you, hey boss, if you want to work, your regular work, you can do it. It's not a problem. But if you don't want to work, you can start working on some project of your own, which you like it, which you love to build. In Google, there are almost 2 lakh to 3 lakh projects which are ongoing, which are not live yet. But out of them, few will be live in the market. You might have heard of Google Earth, right? Google Earth was a kind of this project. Similarly, the product which you are using, Google Map, is also a kind of that kind of product, because few set of people will thought, hey, instead of checking maps, physical maps from going one place to other, why don't make something, which people can use live online, and which will give them a real time distance, which will give them, how the user behavior will be on the traffic. That is something interesting. Okay. And then they started building it, and it is an amazing product. You guys are using on a regular basis Google Map. Okay. So uh, so if you go to a hardcore consulting background, yes, the working hours are a bit higher, like ENY, PwC, or KPMG, etc. However, if you go to other, that's why I'm telling you, see, you have always interacted with service-based companies. Try to interact with product-based companies. There, people's lives are almost chill. The number of working hours are less, not less, like it is the same, 8 hours to 9 hours, and they give their best, and there will be no pressure of delivering things. Of course, there will be a deadline, but it won't be like मुझे कल ही चाहिए. I want it now. People respect your time. People give respect to you as well. However, in service companies, you will be the service provider, right? Like Swiggy, Zomato, people from Bhubaneswar might be ordering from Swiggy, Zomato and all. तो वहाँ पे क्या होता है? You don't scold Swiggy, Zomato, right? You scold the delivery guy. भाई क्यों नहीं आया? Let's say he was not able to find your house. You started scolding them, even though you know that guy is an illiterate guy. He doesn't know, or since he is traveling the entire city, there is a possibility of not knowing certain places. Still you get angry on them. Okay, so service companies are like that. I'm not telling it's bad. They are also doing some of the good works, but uh, that is how the work culture is. So if you work there, then definitely that will also come to you by default. But if you move to product-based companies, it will be completely different. Yeah,
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
thank you. Yeah, any other questions?
That is it for the question, sir. It was wonderful
Yeah,
having you among us.
thank
Forward
you.
to such sessions with you. Thank you, sir.
I didn't get your question. Your voice is pretty low.
That is it for the question, sir. It was wonderful. We look forward to more such sessions with you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hey people, is this the set of questions, or are there any other questions I need to answer?
That is it.
If you have some questions, you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn or my Twitter
Sure, sir.
profile.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, I will answer them all.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.